The first wave took our power. The second wave took our homes. The third wave took our families. The fourth wave took our trust. How do you rid the Earth of 7 billion people? You rid them of their humanity.
Show her.
Show me what?
It's a promotional thing I've been working on for when we go global. Walt, I don't think you've seen this. Some guys ask, how do we do it? In layman's terms, it's really pretty simple. Come on along. First, we take a gloomy, dissatisfied woman. Then, in a very private experience between husband and wife, he gently places her in our female improvement system. It's fully automated. And then, abracadabra, her transformation begins. First, we locate her brain. We insert a few nano chips. Then we program them. Also, we add some secret special ingredients. To avoid any accidents, the husband is kept at a comfortable distance. Safety first. Finally, we enhance her to fit the ideal Stepford wife specifications. And voila! Everything is copacetic. Welcome to the future.
It's a painting again.
I should explain. You see, my real name isn't Mike. It's just a nickname from where I used to work.
Where?
Microsoft.
NASA.
Disney.
AOL.
Is that why the women are so slow?
You know, Monkey has been able to control the computer with his brain. Just, yeah.
So your brain is composed of neurons. Neurons connect together and form a network that can talk to each other through synapses. They're the connection points between neurons, and they communicate using chemical signals, known as neurotransmitters. All of your senses, everything you experience in life, it's all just neurons firing, electrical signals, or otherwise known as action potentials. When neuron spikes occur, these neurotransmitters are released. Information is then relayed across its synapses, and eventually reaches another neuron. Now multiply this process by 100 billion, and that's your brain in a nutshell. Electrodes are the way that Neuralink and other medical practices study your brain activity. By placing these electrodes close to neurons, the action potentials that create electric fields inside your brain can be detected and transferred to a machine that records and measures the data. Neuralink plans to use this to its advantage. Your brain has two main systems, your limbic system and your cortex. These two are in a relationship with each other. Your limbic system is responsible for your basic emotions, your survival instinct. Your cortex is responsible for your problem-solving skills, your critical thinking. It's where your consciousness exists. Neuralink is aiming to create a third layer to this. The implants will be a third wheel in this relationship, but would increase our capabilities by multiple orders of magnitude. They plan to increase the number of neurons that you can access regularly, that you can use to remember things or regain access to certain parts of your brain that may no longer be active. This is extremely useful for medical patients, some of which who had absolutely zero options up until Neuralink became a reality. The goal is to make this one of the most simple procedures there is, similar to people getting LASIK to improve their vision. But why do we even need this in the first place? Well, in most cases, it's a bandwidth issue. Now many people hear this but don't exactly understand what that means. It's a speed problem, it's an energy problem. It's how fast you can get information into or out of your brain. If you have something that you want to write down on a computer, you have to type it with your hands, or speak it into a microphone that's probably going to mess it up. If you want to learn something, it could take days, weeks, months, or even years to fully grasp. If we were able to solve this bandwidth issue, we could accomplish exponentially more in less time with much less physical effort. Neuralink cuts out the middleman and allows input and output directly from your brain to whatever you're doing on a machine, or vice versa. It's like going from writing using a quill, to having a pencil, to having a keyboard, to having Siri, to now potentially having nothing but the power of your own brain. This is where brain-machine interfaces come in, and they change everything. A brain-machine interface, or BMI, is composed of two things: a brain and a machine. The machine could be anything: a phone, a computer, a bionic arm, anything that provides you with sensory inputs from the outside world or an external source. These inputs are then returned back into your brain, where you can process them. But you need something artificial in your head to return this data to. Now don't worry, it's not like putting a CPU inside your head. It's actually quite tiny. Each Neuralink N1 chip is roughly 4x4mm with 1,000 electrodes each. It's feasible to fit up to 10 of these inside your head in different areas, all to measure and affect different parts of your brain. But companies and neurosurgeons alike can't just go around throwing anything they want into someone's head. It's usually a lengthy process to getting these things approved by the FDA for medical purposes and later on public use.
Oh, they grow up so fast. I think I'll have 3 more. Bobby, listen to me. What have they done to you, huh? What have they done to you? Is it drugs? Is it brainwashing? Come on. Hey, talk to me.
Of course, but only for a minute. Then I have to get to work on this pigsty. Coffee?
No, no coffee. Bobby, last night I went online, all right? And I found out all of the women here, they used to be big deals. I mean, big deals. CEOs, executives, judges. Sarah Sunderson, she used to run an airline.
With that perfect skin?
No, she didn't used to look like that. None of the women did. They coffee? No coffee. Bobby, this isn't you.
That's right, Joanna. This isn't me. It's a whole new me.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Citizens of the world, we haven't come here today as your vaccinators. We have come as your liberators. I'm known simply as the novel coronavirus, but today will simply refer to me as COVID-19. The Chinese were all given mandatory vaccines last summer. The vaccine contained replicating, digitized, controllable RNA. This controllable bioweapon can be activated and directed by 5G 60 gigahertz millimeter waves. We activated these frequencies in Wuhan first, coinciding with the nanosmart dust particulates sprayed worldwide.
See, nanocells are real small, 1,000 times smaller than these dust particulates. You inhale it, they go to work replicating, spreading like a virus.
Recently, some fizzy drinks have become brighter and fruitier looking thanks to nanotechnology. Table salt trickles more evenly than ever thanks to nanoparticles. And some ketchup brands now provide products that stick to your chips without a single drop sticking to the bottle, an achievement nothing short of nanotastic. These amazing little specks can't be seen with the naked eye. They're man-made and tens of thousands of times finer than a human hair. Nano, as it were, is quickly gaining a reputation as the technology of the millennium. Still, not everyone believes it to be purely beneficial. Dr. Wolfgang Kraling has researched how somatic cells respond to foreign nanoparticles. But according to his findings, they can in fact enter the human body either via food intake, respiration, or exposure to skin tissue. And once inside the bloodstream, they are readily dispersed.
We have found evidence that these particles go on to organs like the liver, spleen and kidneys, all of which combat toxins. However, traces have even been spotted in the heart and brain.
Nanoparticles can thus embed themselves in the brain, and scientists have only begun to research the side effects. What is known is that nanoparticles are so resilient that the human body is virtually incapable of breaking them down.
For years, Intel technicians have been making PCs smarter. Now they face their greatest challenge ever.
Hey, no one messes with my brain until I get sprinkles. Suckers.
Now anyone can have all the brain power they want. Just look for a PC with an Intel processor inside.
By eliminating covalence inhibitors, we create triple-dense carbohydrates and thus the so-called super donut. Many of you mock my interest in the pastry sciences.
What do you have inside?
See, nanocells are real small. 1,000 times smaller than these dust particulates. You inhale it, they go to work replicating, spreading like a virus, multiplying in exponentials. 6 months' time, I could have 100 million people converted, ditch diggers, porn stars, and presidents. Not one would be the wiser. 100 million people who buy what I want them to buy and do pretty much damn well anything I figure they ought to do.
What?
A chemtrail.
I do know what a chemtrail is.
Yeah, and is it true?
Well, there's a big debate.
Yeah.
Are you filming me?
Maybe. Okay. No.
I don't want to go on record with that.
Okay. No, but do you believe it? I don't film that.
Well, I don't have enough information for that.
Okay. Yeah, but because I saw a lot of videos in the internet, and it really looks believable.
Well, it's arguable both ways, I think.
Yeah?
Depends on which side you're on, but...
Yeah. But what is your personal opinion of it?
I think there's part of truth.
Part of truth, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we should investigate this because when it's true, imagine so many people they suffer of this.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil.
Our chemtrails are sprayed daily. We knew it wouldn't be a problem, as we're followed closely behind by a handful of other countries. That's why when someone is cured, the virus can be digitally reactivated at any time, and the person can literally drop dead. The Diamond Princess cruise ship was specifically equipped with 5G. It's basically a remote assassination station. People around the world breathing in smart dust through these chemtrails. Suppose you think of it like this. Add the combination of vaccines, chemtrails, nanoparticulate smart dust, and the 5G, and your body becomes internally digitized. It can be remotely controlled. A person's organ functions can be stopped remotely if one is deemed non-compliant. Wuhan was a beta test for the upcoming ID 2020. The corrupt elite call for this 60 gigahertz millimeter wave, and they call it the V-wave, or virus wave, to mock you. To survive, you must vehemently reject the attempted mandatory vaccine, as if your life depends on it. It doesn't matter who we are. It matters what our plan is.
We may never know where this disease came from, but we do know that this vaccine is a result of the courage and perseverance of a remarkable few. We shall now begin the drawing. John. First MEV1 vaccination are those people born on March 10th. March 10th. Remind all of you to stay 10 feet apart from each other while online.
Shouldn't you be downstairs?
I'm tracking vaccine batch numbers.
This is what you have to be doing right this minute.
This is what I want to do right this minute.
Take a bow, Allie. People have for a lot less.
It's not that hard to give yourself an injection. What about Mears or my father or you? I'm going to take a bow while you get hauled in front of Congress? What do I say when they ask about that?
You tell them that I told a loved one who told a loved one, and that I'd do it again. Without you, Allie, you have saved millions of lives. That's a great story. It also happens to be true. Now, how often can you say that?
The next citizens to receive the MEV1 vaccination are those born on the date, what is that? January 11th.
Okay.
11th.
All right, 144.
Day
That's
145.
still 200, more than 200 birthdays, hon, that haven't been called, so that's good. That's a good number.
What if they run out?
They're not going to run out. They have enough to keep up with demand. They said that already.
Maybe I'm immune like you and I don't even need it.
That's not a chance we're going to take.
So instead we lose spring, we lose summer, we lose another 144 days that don't happen again.
No good. No good.
What? No. Robert.
Get your hands off my wife. Get your hands off. Stand down. Lieutenant Robert. Get your hands off. Scan her again. Stand down. Stand down, soldier. Stand down. I am Lieutenant Colonel Robert Neville. I'm ordering you to scan her again. Scan her again.
All right, scan her again. It's clear. It's clear. Move through.
The world of medicine has seen its share of miracle cures, from the polio vaccine to heart transplants, but all past achievements may pale in comparison to the work of Dr. Alice Crippen. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
What's all?
So, Dr. Crippen, give it to me in a nutshell.
Well, the premise is quite simple. Take something designed by nature and reprogram it to make it work for the body rather than against it.
You're talking about a virus?
Indeed, yes, in this case, the measles virus, which has been engineered at a genetic level to be helpful rather than harmful. And I find the best way to describe it is if you can imagine your body as a highway and you picture the virus as a very fast car being driven by a very bad man, imagine the damage that that car could cause. But then if you replace that man with a cop, the picture changes, and that's essentially what we've done.
How many people have you treated so far?
Well, we've had 10,009 clinical trials in humans so far.
And how many are cancer-free?
10,009.
So you have actually cured cancer?
Yes, yes. Yes, we have.
The government has these contractors and they make things and they're very compartmentalized, and I don't think people a lot of times realize, not all the time, some people are just horrible people and they're just in things for bad means, but I think some people actually genuinely think, I'm an engineer, I'm a scientist, I'm doing good things, and they don't even have the foresight to realize what their stuff could be used for and that it could be used against the general public. That's what this patent is, and that's just one. There are a lot of others I'd like to go through. I have a whole thing of patents that I've printed off. I just have never had a chance to get to them all. But this particular one, it blows my mind because people just have no idea. We're walking around bathed in so much electromagnetic radiation right now, background. Human beings have never been exposed to the level that humanity is currently being exposed to in our modern technological age, and we're carrying cell phones in our pockets, we're sitting in front of our computer monitors, we're sitting in front of our television sets, and people just don't have any idea the myriad uses that these things can be put to, all the stuff it can do. People are just blissfully ignorant. They don't know. And I personally don't want to go through life blissfully ignorant. I'd like to be informed. I mean, when I think of this, it reminds me of Videodrome. If you haven't seen the movie Videodrome, it's a very weird, creepy, violent movie, but they said in that movie the battle for the minds of North America would be fought in the Videodrome, and it was about programming that was turning people violent and crazy. And I mean, he mentioned some of the things that weak electromagnetic fields can do at certain pulsed frequencies, but that was not an exhaustive list of everything that they can do. And I bet it's a lot more than just making people cry at sappy movies.
Voices are very easy. And it isn't people imagining voices, they physically hear them. They physically hear, as I'm talking to you, my voice isn't inside your brain. My voice goes no further than an inch into your ear, no further at all. It's the electrical signal that makes you interpret how I sound. And once you've got this electrical signal, which can be a chip or lots of things, you can physically make people hear voices, certain voices, and it can be any conversation.
BMIs contain the potential to help people with a wide range of clinical disorders. Using just 256 electrodes, or about 2.5% the number of electrodes Neuralink eventually plans to use, human patients have been able to control computer cursors, robotic limbs, and speech synthesizers. The full potential with nearly 40 times that amount of electrodes is hard to imagine. Currently, the best FDA-approved BMI is used for Parkinson's patients, and it only has 10 electrodes. For Neuralink, this is just the beginning, and it's already 1,000 times better than what is currently approved. In version 1. Each electrode is inserted into your head via tiny threads that are roughly 5 micrometers thick. They're around 10 times smaller than a human hair and contain 32 electrodes each. It's roughly the same size as a neuron, which is a good idea. There's a size limit for things that you want to stick in your head. Something too large is inevitably going to cause problems, so the smaller, the better. Neuralink actually made a robot that is used to insert these with extreme precision, which is pretty much mandatory. Humans couldn't do it if they wanted. This is a penny. It's pretty small, right? It's roughly the same size as the tip of my thumb. Now, zooming in extremely close, this right here is the needle that will be inserted into your skull. Placing it beside a penny, you actually couldn't see it. As the robot inserts each thread one by one, at the end, there could eventually be up to 10,000 of these electrodes inside your head, each responsible for recording separate neurons which can later on be analyzed. But not only can they read data from your brain, they can also input data as well. It's a two-way street. It's sort of like being able to upload and download things from your brain. Brain implants aren't exactly new either though. They go as far back as the 1950s. Hearing implants are a good example. Neuralink just plans to take the baton and continue down the path, but in a different way. Other BMIs approach the situation differently. For deep brain stimulation, the kind of implants that were used to assist Parkinson's patients that I mentioned before, they essentially used larger stiff needles that were pretty much just shoved into the brain to affect neural activity, just as the electrodes from Neuralink will. It works well, but there's a pretty high probability that complications will occur over time. Seizures, strokes, and even more. It may fix one issue, but it's probable that multiple other issues will show up. See, your brain doesn't sit still inside your head, it moves around with you. Even if you think you're sitting still, your brain moves with each breath, each heartbeat. This is what can cause issues, and is why a robot is needed for Neuralink's procedure to be successful. Neuralink is taking a different approach, and it really isn't even a huge surgery. Your head isn't going to be completely peeled open for these chips to be inserted. Each chip will be inserted into your head through a small incision of 8mm at most, so less than a centimeter. You won't need stitches, you won't need any of that. It's hardly a surgery at all. By the way, those chips that are inserted are completely wireless, as you would probably hope. The craziest thing of all is that you won't need to go to a hospital or random place to hook yourself up to use this interface. There's no USB port sticking out of your head, you won't need a caretaker or anyone to help you. With the use of a single wireless battery-powered computer behind your ear, it will actually be able to connect you to your smartphone, effectively making your phone an official part of you. The options and potentials for this technology is limitless, and it's only going to improve over time. Now, I don't want to overreach here and throw out ideas that are impossible, so I won't. But I will give some solid uses and some pretty cool ideas for Neuralink that can actually become a reality one day. This is my computer. Ironside sent it to me a couple months back, and it is great for everything I need to do. It has a 2080 Ti graphics card, an i9 processor, and 64GB of RAM. I can edit much faster and more efficiently than I was able to before. I can play pretty much any game on ultra settings. But in order to do these things, I need to use my hands. Well, duh. I need to use a mouse and a keyboard to get things done in the way I want, or to move my character in games. But Neuralink may be able to change this. If a patient is able to control an arm with his or her mind, then it's not unfeasible to believe that, one day, you may be able to control characters in video games with your brain as well. Considering it's all Bluetooth, all wireless, it's not too much of a stretch to ask. This, coupled with advancements in virtual reality, will cause video games, and potentially even films, to become almost fully immersive. Let's take an example of where Neuralink technology could be used in a pretty cool yet practical way. Let's say you're about to take a month-long trip to Tokyo. You're an American, and as most Americans, most of us only speak one language. We'll have no clue how to get around any city that doesn't have street signs or directions completely in English. But luckily, Neuralink can help us out here. Imagine there's a Tokyo local who's lived there his entire life. Looking at the action potentials of that particular person, studying their neuron spikes in a region of their brain called the hippocampus, and in which order they occur, you can trace out a path throughout the entire city from when these neurons spike. And once this data is input into your brain, you'll be able to traverse the city like you've lived there your entire life. Telepathy is no longer unrealistic. The electrode implants that detect neural signals wirelessly transmit their data back to the small computer behind your ear. So, the idea of transferring data back and forth between these devices is relatively simple to imagine. And because the electrodes can both read and write data, you could theoretically communicate back and forth between people who also have Neuralink implants. Now at the moment, the technology isn't exactly close to making this happen. Maybe a word or two. But in theory, and with enough improvements, it is possible for high bandwidth communication between two people.
Imagine every human on Earth connected. In thought. In feeling.
Yeah, that's me.
In real time.
She's here. Can you see her? Beatrice Murray.
Welcome to the feed.
Using nothing but their minds. It may be an aggressive approach, as Elon tends to take, but you can see Neuralink implants in human patients by the end of this year. And once that happens, it's only up from there. Improvements will slowly be added, and I can honestly see this becoming a big and common practice within the next couple of decades. You always hear that there's new technology coming out that will change our lives. But I'm serious when I say this. If this is taken seriously and can work in the ways we're studying and planning on at the moment, I see this as an invention that is on the scale of the internet. It will change the world the way airplanes impacted travel, the way antibiotics impacted medicine. Computers and the internet threw us into a brand new digital age. Phones and computers have become extensions of human beings. They can answer almost any question you could ask at a moment's notice.
So now I ask, do you feel in charge? Your money and your infrastructure support have been important until now. I'm the New World Order's reckoning. I'm a necessary evil. These are the instruments of your liberation. So let us not stand on ceremony here. You are Goem, a Gentile. You are a slave. Your idea of peace has come at the cost of your strength. Victory has defeated you. Fear and deception are powerful agents for the uninitiated. You see, the Trigger Man will remain a mystery. I'm here to fulfill the New World Order's destiny. You think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man.
For the first time ever, scientists have been able to steer nanorobots through dense tissue prevalent inside the vitreous of the eye. So far, these so-called nanopropellers were only able to travel through models or fluids, but not through real tissue. With this, science is one step further towards nanorobots becoming minimally invasive tools for precisely delivering medicine to where it is needed.
So the vision of these nanopropeller is that one day we will load drugs and they will carry these drugs and propel through the vitreous to the retina and release drug very locally in a targeted way.
Dr. Tian Chu and his colleagues tested the robots on a dissected pig's eye at the Eye Hospital in Tübingen, their collaboration partner. Developing the nanorobot with its special features was done at the Max Planck Institute for Intelligent Systems in Stuttgart.
So here is actually a model of our nanopropeller. It has a spherical head and a helical tail. The helical tail is the important part because when it rotates, it will translate this rotation to forward propulsion.
For the Stuttgart scientists, this is not the first nanorobot they have developed. For several years now, they have been creating different types of nanorobots using a sophisticated 3D manufacturing process developed by the Micro, Nano and Molecular Systems lab. They build their nanorobots carrying tiny particles of magnetic material, such as iron, so they can be steered magnetically. But this time, they also needed to add a special coating. A difficult task, given that the nanorobot is 200 times smaller than a human hair is wide.
The coating is very important and was developed by Zhiguan Wu, who was a Humboldt Fellow in the lab, and it consists of two layers. There's first a solid layer, which is chemically bound, followed by a liquid oil layer, which really minimizes the adhesion to the biological network in the eye so that the propellers can move.
The coating is inspired by nature. It is like the slippery layer found on the carnivorous pitcher plant to catch insects. This Teflon-like coating is crucial for the efficient propulsion of the robots inside the eye. It minimizes the adhesion between the tight molecule mesh in the vitreous and the surface of the nanorobots. That way, the robots don't damage the sensitive biological tissue around them.
So we inject these nanopropellers with a non-magnetic needle into the eye in the center of the vitreous, and then we start a magnetic field to propel them towards the retina.
Now that it is possible to magnetically steer nanorobots through an eye towards the retina, perhaps one day they could release drugs in this difficult-to-reach area. They could become minimally invasive tools for targeted drug delivery. It's still a vision, but the scientists are working hard to soon make this a reality.
You alright?
How are we supposed to fight the others if we don't even know what they are?
Actually, we do. You want to see one? Don't worry. He won't be able to see us. I know. It's impossible to tell. Look through here. Look. That's its true form. The others infest real humans, like some sort of parasite. Take over their minds, their bodies. Drugs, radiation, surgery, nothing works. The only way to kill him is to kill the host. He's already dead. You just need to destroy the thing inside him. The thing that did this. Push the button. Look again.
Look. If you're gonna be on my squad, I need to know that you will do whatever it takes to... Welcome to the fight.
BMIs like the one Neuralink are creating are going to have a similar and honestly even larger effect than that. As time goes on, as we enter a new decade, technology that we've passed off as unrealistic becomes more and more plausible.
But we must not rest. The race is far from over. American companies must lead the world in cellular technology. 5G networks must be secure. They must be strong. They have to be guarded from the enemy. We do have enemies out there, and they will be. They must also cover every community, and they must be deployed as soon as possible.
We're ready.
Hell yeah. Been looking forward to this.
Modulating frequencies now.
It's time. Let's light it up.
Are you ready, Neville? Pre-check.
Check.
Check. Okay, Neville.
In T-minus 3, 2, 1. Ready to launch. Hit the button.
Here we go.
It's working. It's working.
Nationwide 5G is live.
Yeah. And we're just getting started.
Wait until they see what's next.
Hi, this is John in Los Angeles. It's October 22nd, 2017, about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm at a park in Dominguez, California here. That was a little religious ceremony they got going down there. So I'm looking around the park, and I'm looking at this. Look at this. This is a microwave cell tower, guys, right out in the open where anybody can walk up to it. People are being hit by it that are playing in the park and all this stuff. And I'm gonna show you the signs here, wide open. Look at this. You can freeze frame the video if you want to read some of this. I won't stay on it too long, but just take a look at this. Look at this. Yeah, you really want to salute this. They're microwaving the piss out of us all, and they're disguising it as this. This is what they do. They put the flag on things so you trust it. Well, I don't trust it.
The film you are about to see has no characters. If you spare a little of your imagination, it is a film to describe to you the effect of cymatic frequencies on matter. everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound.
But if anyone tells you that they know the details of what 5G is going to become, run the other way.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I won't drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kinda funny, and I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, and I find it hard to take. People run in circles